Mike, so you mentioned that we lived through 2008, 2009. And at the risk of sounding too confident right now, I think that right now is a crazy, crazy opportunity for all of us to get out there and win market share, to learn this different way of communicating, to really differentiate ourselves coming out of this thing.
Yes. I don't think there's any question that this may be for a broker, a sales manager, an agent that is thinking forward. This may be one of the best opportunities I've ever experienced. I mean, because the inventory is what is securing the opportunity. Therefore, all inventory is almost instant gold in a commission check. And the fact that most people, Peter, as you and I know, are panicking even today. I mean, we've been at this for 7 weeks. Guess what? It's here. To panic at this point really shows a lack of intelligence, and I hope they're offended, but it shows a lack of intelligence. I mean, it's with us, it's here, it's part of our life. So if most people are hiding and you and I are outside thinking about what we can do, I mean, I'm telling you, in Las Vegas, the agents that are active are doing more deals. I interviewed a person Monday afternoon in San Jose, Erica. She did 16 deals in the month of April, residential resales, in the worst market in history. And I said, how did the rest of the office do? She said, well, there's 100 agents. They did 4. And she did 16. So it's here more than anything else. So thank you for sharing that thought. It's very important.
I get a weird excitement with all the chaos and all the fear. It kind of excites me and says, well, okay, well, if everyone's feeling that way, let's go this way and see how we can capitalize on that fear. I don't know if that's twisted or not, but it excites me.
Well, it's, Earl Nightingale used to refer to what he called the 180-degree theory. If everybody's going to the left, go to the right. There's no competition, nobody competing against you, okay? Now, you say, well, it could be risky. Well, if you're going to get ahead, you're going to take a risk. Stopping at a for sale by owner is a risk because they may slam the door. But you can't get the listing if you don't stop. So my joke has always been, when the average agent sees a for sale by owner sign, they accelerate to get out of the neighborhood quick. Well, the good ones will stop. So I agree with you, Peter. It's a great opportunity for all of us, no question.
So you just talked about a office that had 100 agents do 4 deals and 1 agent do 16. So,
yes.
Obviously there's agents out there asking, should I adjust my business plan? Should I expect less from the rest of the year? Obviously some agents aren't. I mean, what would you say to that?
It's interesting because January and February were pretty strong nationwide. First 2 weeks of March were still okay. The last 2 weeks of March took it, and in April it fell apart. So yes, that's behind us now. That's what we have to recognize. So what I'm telling agents to do is they have an annual business plan. But now I want to break it down and be very specific in 1 to 2 week to 3 week plans for what they're going to do. But see, the truth is, I'm like you and I'm like Peter. I'm the eternal optimist. For goodness sakes, never lower your expectations. Raise your standards. Put a little pressure on yourself to perform. Most people aren't. What a wonderful time to learn about some of the weaknesses you have as a salesperson, because you have the time in home isolation to study and research and learn how to do it better. I mean, this is a great time to raise the standards for individuals. And I think now this is where we say, okay, your goal was to do 10 deals for the year. You've done 4. Let's do a minimum of 10 more, or let's do 15 more. So let's push the standards higher by improving the quality of what we do. I don't believe in lowering my expectations. I won't do that at all.
No, I agree. Totally agree. You talked quite a bit today about mindset, and which I think is absolutely key to success and then getting through this. How do you keep fear out of your own mindset?
Well, you said something 5 minutes ago, and if I could have reached through and given you a high five, I would have done it, because I felt what you said was that important, Jason. I haven't watched the news on TV in 45 years. I have no idea what goes on in the world most of the time. And people criticize me all the time, but I'm 75 years old and I'm happy and I'm excited about whatever future I get to have. And I'm not negative because I don't let that stuff into my head. So I don't watch the news. I don't read the newspaper. You know, traveling every day for 45 years, you get on an airplane, the first thing they hand you is a newspaper, and I hand it back. And they'll always say, well, don't you want to see the newspaper? No. Flight attendant will say, what do you want to, what? You don't want to see, how come you don't want to see the newspaper? Because there's no news. I'd rather just read a book that I always have with me that is positive and inspiring. So I believe that controlling what goes in, my wife kids, and Tony has heard me say this, my wife kids about the fact that I wear an invisible shield called a negativity shield around my head. And if somebody's negative, I smile, I nod my head, and I never listen to a word they say because I don't want it in my head. So I don't watch the news. I don't read the news. I read positive books every day, which is what I enjoy doing. This iPad is, to me, is wonderful because I can watch once or twice a day some of the great motivational speakers, you know, and I just try to fill my life full of things that I can have good thoughts on before I go to sleep, and that's how you control it. And I see when you said that you haven't watched the news, how much better you felt.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, keep negativity out.
Yeah.
So I have a question that someone asked, and I know you're going to jump all over this. The agents who are waiting this out, not maintaining contact with their sphere, do you think they will be able to thrive again after this?
Yes, it's going to be slower for them. Okay, there's no question about it because, you know, the 80-20 rule in business that we all would talk about as owners is pretty much gone. Now it's 90-10.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, 90% of the business is done by about 10% of the agents. So if they're part of that group that is waiting, I mean, what if this takes another 3 or 4 months before it starts to light up again? They might as well be getting a job at Walmart, okay? So they're technically out of the business. Excuse me, I did a program in Calgary. This is always good when the speaker gets the hiccups, so I did a program in Calgary, Alberta last year, and this really handsome young guy walks up at the break. It was 10:30 in the morning. May I have lunch with you today? I said, well, of course. You know, well-dressed, nice-looking fellow. So we sit down at lunch. I said, what can I do for you? He said, listen to this, I've been in a slump. I said, okay, tell me about that. Well, I don't have any listings. I have no pendings, no sales. I have no income. And I said, well, how long has that been going on? For almost a year. I said, you're not in a slump. You're out of the business, for God's sakes. So why don't you just admit it? You got to go get a job.
Yeah.
Well, he said, I'm really offended by that. I said, I'm offended that I have to talk to you about you being in a slump for a year. I said, either go to work or get out of the business. And then I got up and went to the broker and told him to fire the guy. And the broker did. Okay. Well, you know, people say I'm not very patient. I have a lot of patients. They're in hospitals all over the world. Okay. So I'm a great believer that it is time for us to do something. Okay. And we need to do it now. If you're not doing anything today, in 3 months, it's going to be a lot worse. You're not going to do, you're going to have a hard time. Watch, re-energize, you know, you get yourself back in the business. So something simple. Call 2 or 3 past clients each day. Preview 4 or 5 properties online to get yourself back into what's for sale, what's not for sale. You know, look at your database, clean up your database to make sure you're talking to people that enjoy talking to you. You know, get yourself back into the business today, because if you don't, the future is not going to be fun.
And we have a captive audience. They're at home right now.
Ah, boy, no truer words, let me tell you.
And Mike, wouldn't you say that people that have that mindset, or agents that have that mindset, are the people that are creating the opportunity for the others that don't have that mindset?
Yes, 100%. I mean, that could be just written in stone and placed on every agent's desk. No question about it. So may I do something, if you guys are okay? I'd like to give the audience my email address, because when we're done today, if they have any questions, send them to me and I'll do my best to answer, usually within a couple hours. So let me just, if I may, it's very complicated. Mike.Ferry at MikeFerry.com. Because, you know, if they sometimes they don't want to ask questions because they're a little personal, and I understand that. And if they send them to me, I'll certainly respond as quickly as possible for them. So, Peter, any idea how many people you've got in terms of the whole outfit looking at this today?
Right now we have over 400 on Zoom. We usually end up with, we could end up with 10,000 viewers of this thing.
Wow, good for you guys. That is great.
That's
And-
not us. That's you, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
But-
Thank
but
you, Mike.
Peter, that's pretty good advertising for the company with all those people. Good for you.
And by the way, thanks for giving your email address out. That's huge. And I really recommend take advantage of that. You've got a 45-year veteran here, one of the best in the industry. And Mike, I want to thank you. Any closing thoughts for our Coldwell Banker family?
Well, years ago, when the company was headquartered in Orange County, once a month they brought all the new broker franchisees in for a week of meetings. And for several years, I was honored. They had me as the closing speaker on Friday afternoon. And I was such a treat because there would be 30 to 40 new Coldwell Banker brokers in this meeting. And they had that beautiful big Coldwell Banker banner behind me. And the old logo said Coldwell Banker, then there was a dot. And then it said expect the best. And some of you remember that logo. So I used to close my little short hour-and-a-half talk, Jason and Peter, by stopping and pointing to the sign. And I would say to the people in the audience, please tell me what the sign says. And they would all say, well, it says Coldwell Banker, expect the best. I said, no, it doesn't say that. Oh, no, we're reading the sign, Coldwell Banker, expect the best. I said, no, it says Coldwell Banker, period, expect the best. See, there's nothing after that period except for expect the best. That logo was in play for years in CB. The public expects the best from CB. They expect the best every single time. So let's make sure that we deliver to the public what our job really is. So Peter and Jason and Tony Smith and Corey Shepard and all of our longtime friends on this call, first of all, thank you. And I hope someday, Jason, I'm going to be able to stop in Victorville when I'm allowed to stop and give you a handshake and a high five.
I look forward to seeing you. And big thanks from the Coldwell Banker family for coming on, sharing your wisdom. Again, mike.ferry@mikeferry.com. Ask your questions, and thank you for joining us. This will be rebroadcasted soon, later. Peter will give a little bit more detail on that. Peter, thank you for your help today and joining us.